Hey! Is the noon train on time?
Supposed to be.
Feels like it's time.
Fair enough.
BBN Jackfrost. What's up, party people? How's everybody doing? I'm hoping everybody's having a beautiful day. We're back. I got a couple of things to say real quick. We're gonna have to discuss this because obviously I think there are a lot of Americans that have missed the mandate that has been created by the actual American people, by the majority of the American people, might I say, not the minority. So, what up, Mike Jones? I tell y'all what, we'll do roll call. Give me a couple of minutes. Let me move this. Or something. We'll do roll call. Give me at about the 5-minute mark or something. So, first, I've been going a minute. It is what it is. We're back. Second, I think it's extremely important for us to have this specific conversation about what the American people, the majority of the American people wanted, and the minority wanted something different. And the minority is really upset. And when I say minority, I don't mean black people. I mean the individuals who wanted the thing that was different than the majority of the Americans. So recently it has been disclosed by DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency, that we're going to have to do a little bit of talking about the past in order to have this conversation. So do you want to know what was one of the number one things in the past 20 to 30 years that the Democrats complained that the Republicans was trying to take away from the American people? You see, these things that are being argued about right now are so much deeper. And since we have so many individuals that they weren't really paying attention to what has been going on in American history that they've literally been living in, they've been more concerned with other types of ideologies like gender ideology, race ideology, whatever you want to put it. They've been so concerned with these other things that they've been not paying attention. So I'm going to say this again. Do you know what has historically been one of the major points that Democrats have consistently tried to make, that they said that the Republicans were trying to take away from the American people? In the interest of time, I'll just say it. Social Security. Isn't that always every single presidential election up for conversation? The Republicans are trying to cut funding to Social Security. Tell me where the lie's at. You see how previously, before the election, I had consistently told y'all, look, after the election, we're going to find out a lot of things. And it's going to deal with where our money has been going. And what the Republicans, Donald Trump, is going to actually do is cut off their funding. Because what do I consistently say, and I've been saying since this channel has been a thing, Republicans and Democrats make their money differently. The way that the Democrats make their money is by creating a situation where we need a thing so that they can open up some kind of like clinic in our neighborhood, and then they steal the funding from said clinic. Now, you see how I've been telling you what's been going on forever. How I've consistently been on point and know what I've been talking about. How I've been telling you what's happening without necessarily telling you what's happening. I've been doing this for a long time. So now we're hearing somewhere near $1.7 trillion have been sent of Social Security, Medicaid, and Medicare money overseas to non-Americans. Also, in addition to that, we have like a record number of 150-year-olds apparently, because they're receiving it. So what have I consistently been saying about the Democrats? What up to the few? How you doing? Hope everything is going well with you and yours. Huh? What have I consistently been saying about the Democrats? Consistently. I don't have any clips for you tonight. I'm going to have clips for you in the morning. Just so we can be clear, morning coffee is up. We're going to have clips in the morning. I do not have clips tonight. I also have to find our original A Tonight Show intro so I could start getting the show back to what it was previously as far as the visuals is consistent with. So with that being said, pay attention to what the Democrats are holding so close to their vest. What was something that I told you was going to crumble? I said it was going to crumble when President Trump was elected. The Department of Education. What building were they standing out in front of trying to fight to get inside of? Damn, Frost been right about a lot of shit, yo. Frost been right about a lot of shit. Tell me what a lot at. I mean, that's fair to ask, right? You tell me I'm wrong. You tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. Also, tell me where the lie's at. Coincidentally, while I was saying all of these things, I had people arguing with me on a regular. Some of the people would see me in the street and they'll be like, want to hold a conversation with me. And if you're civil, I'm more than happy to hold a conversation. I don't want to do the yelling and screaming thing ever. Ever. I had some weirdo the other day come into my Instagram and just for no reason whatsoever was just like, yeah, you want to fight? Like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? And then they think that you have an obligation now to fight them because of their mental health disorder. They think that you got an obligation. This guy got to fight me because I don't like him. No, nigga. Yeah, I don't got to fight you. I'm consistently said the same thing. I'm a social media personality. I'm on the internet. I'm not going to be in the street just randomly fighting people. We don't do that. It's going to get handled a different way. Now, with that being said, and this has been consistent as long as this channel has existed, just so we can be clear. Now, with that being said, see? Pay attention, man. People be out there trying to set other people up. Now, with that being said, so many things that I said that were going to happen is actually happening. It's insane at this point. And there's people that I get it. Like I said before, any of the individuals that I know that are supporters of the Democrats, because you can support whatever you want to support, just so we could be clear. I have people that I know that support the Democrats. I love them, just so we could be clear. I absolutely love them. When I go too long without seeing them, I miss them. Like, absolutely love them. The Democratic supporters. Let's not get this confused. So, once again, this is not an indictment on the individual, because I used to be a supporter of the Democrats previously also, while a lot of these functions were going on, and I didn't see them. So who am I to judge you for not seeing them? That doesn't make sense. So with that being said, $1.7 trillion sent overseas, not even to our own economy. Do you understand that? Now, who said that Trump started inflation? Because remember, they're not sending wire transfers, these individuals that was running our government. These geniuses was printing paper money and flying it out to places. So who said Trump started inflation? Even though we have all of this consistent proof that inflation was created by the Biden administration. I'm curious. $1.7 trillion. I keep telling y'all, they open up reasons for, they create a problem in our communities. Another plane did crash. Who you blaming that on? We can have this conversation. You wanted to bring it in here. Another plane did crash. Who did you blame that on? You got the feeling like I was waiting for this, right? You just got that impression, didn't you? Oh shit. He was waiting for this. I'm about to get cooked. You got that impression, didn't you? I get it. Tell me your perspective on the plane crash. I'm more than happy to let you know mine. But until then, I'm going to continue with what I'm talking about. Yes, another plane did crash. I want to know the implications that it have on the conversation that we're currently engaging in. Is that fair? So, I don't know, but he fired 400 FAA guys. So, did you know who was running the FAA? The person who was running the FAA wasn't qualified. You know that, right? They had absolutely no history in that field that they were appointed to run. You know that, right? So if the person who is running the thing has no experience, right? Why are you apologizing for? You trying to make it seem like I'm doing something to you, right? I'm about to kick you for that in a minute. Don't worry about it. But I don't feel no way. Thank you for the question. So if you hire a person who has zero experience in the field, and then they go and they hire people, what is the chances that those people are going to have experience? Or at least the requisite experience to get the job done. Very little, right? Now, add that to the actual fact that they were more interested in hiring people based on DEI qualifications than actual qualifications for being able to do the job. Now, add that to the fact that Trump's only been in office for like 3 weeks. So that means that any issues that currently are going on in America, just so we could be clear, he inherited from the Biden administration. This is just facts. I mean, you could deal with it however you want to deal with it, though. That's your choice. Now, with that being said, we're going to get back to our main conversation because you don't have anything except for trying to cause confusion. So, thank you for the question. It was good putting that in there. I see how you didn't want to take a position because you didn't want to be able to say a thing because you wanted to hear what I had to say first. So then you could be able to try to put together the perfect comeback. But no, if you bring something up, you have to say your perspective. With that being said. So just so we could be clear, $1.7 trillion, Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, money sent overseas to individuals who are not even American. They weren't even sending the money abroad to American citizens that was living in other countries. So do you understand what this has just done? What that is in actuality, what that is actually done is that is made the American dollar worth less. In addition to that, we are fueling another country's economy, their entire economy. So you're gonna say, Frost, this guy Frost, he's talking. He don't know what he's talking about. Where is he coming from with these dead things? Ask about tariffs next. So, did you hear about the deal that just was made with Japan, I believe, where we're gonna be shipping a certain amount of like $1 billion worth of fuel to Japan? They're gonna be buying their fuel from us. Now, I want to just reel back a little. In 1970, was it 1970s? No. Was it? I think it was in the 1970s, 1960s, 1970s. Around that time, we made a deal with the Middle Eastern countries that we would loan them our military in order to guard their oil reserves, and if we did that, what they would do was they would trade exclusively in the American dollar. Just so we can understand how working, building, and creating a strong economy works. Because I know a lot of people don't understand how this works. Just so we can be clear. So what they did was, by doing that, every other country now had to use the American dollar in order to be able to go buy oil for their country. From these people. So that made the American dollar extremely valuable. Now, just recently, that deal ended. I don't know, 12 years ago, 15 years ago, something like that. But it was just recently. It's over with. So now, those countries can trade in whatever they want to trade in. That's why this whole situation with the BRICS have come up. I'm going into a whole nother conversation. I'm going to try to wheel it back around because I don't really want to get into the BRICS conversation. And I don't want to get into the world economic, entire world economic situation, and why when America is doing what America is about to do with Donald Trump, the rest of the world is going to start looking like they broke niggas. So I just want you to be clear on this. I need for you to understand what's about to happen. This is what the Democrats feared. And when I say Democrats, I don't mean the voters. I mean the elected officials. Because their power exists inside of the idea that if you are a person in another country that is a political figure, or you are even if you're an anarchist, whoever the hell you are, having them as a friend is a benefit. What do you think is happening when they're sending this money over there to all of these different organizations? Pardon me. What do you think is happening when they're sending this money over to these other countries and under all of these fake names and to all of these businesses and these corporations? What do you think is really happening? Yeah, I'm assuming most people know what money laundering is. So we going back to the 1.7 trillion American dollars that was supposed to go to Social Security, Social Security, Medicaid, and Medicare. What is one of the main talking points that Democrats always have when they're going into these conversations about who's going to be our next president? What is one of the main conversations that they have? That the Republicans is trying to stop or prevent some sort of Medicaid, Medicare, or Social Security payments. When in reality, what are they really trying to do? So now think about all of those times you didn't vote for a Republican, based off of the information that you were given, that they were trying to take money out of old people's pockets, that they were trying to prevent aid to go to the people in our communities that most needed. When the Republicans were just trying to most likely stop money from being sent over to other countries and funding wars. See, this is where we're at right now. This is what I don't think a lot of people understand. There's a real disclosing of vital information that we had not previously had. People are always upset at the dude that tells the truth at all regard. They want you to think that person is crazy. They want you to think that person's a liar. They want you to think everything in this world, because in that moment, they might not be saying nothing about you now, but they might know something about you, or you might think that they know something about you. You can't have them having any type of credit. You can't have people taking their words seriously. So with that being said, I've consistently been correct with telling y'all what was going to happen next. Doing it in damn near real time. I'm just going to throw this out there. Another thing that I told you what was going to happen. I told you Trump wasn't going to need to go after the people who was going after him, because any of the people that he is going to actually put into a position of power is most likely going to be the individuals that they were going after. Remember when I told you that? What did Trump do? What did Trump do? Kash Patel, Kristi Noem. What did Trump do? Tom Homan. What did Trump do? Marco Rubio. What did Trump do? RFK Jr. What did Trump do? Being right about one or two things is one thing, but to be right about the whole entire situation? I was telling y'all this for months. Being right about one or two things, okay. But being right about the whole entire situation? Telling you exactly what was going to happen, and then those things happen. And don't say anybody could have guessed it, because how many people were saying that I was wrong? So anybody couldn't have guessed it. How many people were saying I was crazy, so anybody couldn't have guessed it? I get accosted in the street when I be walking. People be so mad. One dude yelled out one day, "We know where you live." I said, okay. I walk by his job every now and then in the middle of the day to see if he's there. I don't want no problems with nobody. Don't get this confused. But there's only one fight that's going on. It's the fight against the Lord's word and the people that don't want to see the Lord's word go into fruition. That's it. What did the demons do when Christ pulled them out of the people? Put them into the pigs. They were yelling and screaming, weren't they? What's going on right now? Pay attention. That's all I'm saying. It's not hard to tell what's going to happen next. It's not hard to tell who's going to do what, in my opinion. Shout out to the Most High. Glory be to God. Jesus is King, in my opinion. The wild part is, shout out to everybody who has civil conversations with me on these matters. But the wild part is how consistently I get into conversations with people about these particular things, and they're always trying to tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about, as the things that I'm saying are actually happening. And you just be like, good, you know what? We're good friends. We're just going to be quiet. I love you. We good friends. I'm just going to be quiet. You know what? It's okay. And then when you talk to the people that you might know because you're associates, you're a little bit more, okay, we don't know what you're talking about there. Let me put you on the game. Then you talk to the people that you don't like, and you're like, look, you rat bastard. Oh, man. So I need to understand how Democrats, the voters, can explain how they're angry that all of this money is being found that was being squandered on non-American things, so it can be given back to the American people. I need to know. I need to have an understanding of how that's an issue. Is that fair? Like, I would need for some Democrats to sit down, and I don't want to talk about, we could talk about what you want to talk about after we talk about what I want to talk about. We could talk about everything that you want to talk about in its totality. But I just want to discuss one point first. And then we could talk about your million points you have. And that point is, how are you upset? Because they're upset. Give me 1 second, Nervin. Because they're upset. I just want to be clear on this. Shout out to Nervin Numbers. I want to know how you're upset. What part of the press conference? That press conference had a lot going on. I only seen pieces of it. So explain to me what part you want to discuss, and then I'll reply to that, just so we can be clear. Because I don't really know what you want me to respond to, because I might not feel the same about the entirety of, what I saw. Is that fair? With that being said, I just want to have a conversation about why you are so, not you, the Democratic voters that are upset, are so upset that they're finding all of this government waste, and that they're firing people who weren't even doing their jobs, because there was no job for most of them to do. And now, because certain agencies inside of the government don't exist anymore, that means that certain jobs don't exist anymore. All DEI jobs don't need to exist. None of them. So I don't know how many of those are now. I don't know how many of those are. None of those need to exist. Anything based on DEI, just let them go. Immediately. Before somebody get killed. No DEI hires. Also, for you black people that swear, oh, DEI is going away, so we're not going to get elected, we're not going to get hired. You should have been sending your kids to school. You should have been making sure your kids had an education. Because the only way that you should be concerned about DEI hires is if you already know that your kids is idiots and they're not going to get a job anywhere. So it's an issue. We need for them to get hired because of the color of their skin and not the content of their abilities. So you're part of the problem. Stop trying to make it seem like black people are the stupidest people on the planet, and the only way we can get hired for anything is if people are just hiring us out of sympathy. Why? Why is that a thing? Black people, because those are the ones I'm talking to. When white people do it, I understand the racism. When we do it, it's like, how is this a thing? At one minute, you want to talk about how you're the best at something, but in another moment, you're saying that the only way you're going to get hired is if people are hiring based on the color of your skin. I need to understand this. All of that DEI shit need to go out the window. Get rid of that shit. No more DEIs. No DEIs. No DEIs. Make people have to get in a real education. Make so people not going to college to go get a degree and like making up freaking degrees. They get all these bullshit ass degrees in college now just to say that they have a degree. They just go make up a degree. 150, Nervin Number says when he said 150 years still receiving Social Security, that's crazy. Well, first of all, yeah, that's absolutely insane. But if you are alive and you're 150 years old, you should be receiving your Social Security. I just want to be clear on that. Now, with that being said, the implication is that these people were not currently alive anymore. And that you can just imagine how many years they were fake accounts that existed in order for them to be able to keep drawing money to these people. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, it's not just, oh, wow, look at this corruption that we found. These dudes in the Biden administration is terrible. It's, how long has this been going on? How many years have they been drawing, billions of dollars out of the American economy every year? And don't get this confused. I expected for there to be people on both sides of the aisle that are guilty of being complicit or involved in these crimes, just so we could be clear. I expect there to be people on both sides of the aisle, Republican and Democrat. Something like this can't persist unless, this is wide range corruption. This isn't corruption that could have been done by just one party. Well, no, I don't think the family's been getting paid Social Security since the person was 1 year old. I don't know. I don't think that that's what was happening. I'm sorry, that was just funny. But what I do think is happening is, let's say when the person got on Social Security that was actually alive, maybe they was in their 80s. Wink, wink. How long has Social Security existed? Hold on. It's more recent than people think it is, actually. More recent than people think it is. Oh, wait, hold on. Let's make this a little bigger. It is not morning coffee. You know what? I'm just going to leave that there. I'm gonna leave that there. I don't see anything that I would prefer to have there right now. Leave that there. Man, look how messed up that is. See, this is why I don't do stuff. I get distracted. All right, let's go back to what we're doing. All right. Existed, right? So 90 years? Social Security existed for 90 years. So yeah, somebody could have been in their 70s, 80s, and then they died, and then instead of, closing the account, now they're shipping the account to their own, to their account. They're taking the funds. So Social Security existed since August 14th, 1935. Franklin D. Roosevelt signed the Social Security Act that makes Social Security, this makes Social Security 89 years old. What I said, 90? Social Security Act created federally mandated system of social insurance for the elderly. The act was funded by payroll taxes paid by employees and their employers. This is stuff we all know. What up, Brandon Washington? Salute. So yeah. So that's basically what's most likely been going on. People have been passing away, and instead of them closing the account, they keep the account open, and then they funnel the account here, and they funnel the account there, and they steal the monies. So now explain to me how closing or monitoring, pardon me, not closing, but monitoring or auditing Social Security isn't important. I want to know why we should not be auditing these establishments. I want to know why we wouldn't audit the Department of Education. They're failing. What number of American students? It's an R. Right? Where? What the hell does that say? What? What was that doing? Two different things? Okay. This is obviously incorrect. They say in education, we're not ranked one in no way in the world. Look at the thing. This is why they gotta fix this shit. U.S. Schools. Looking at the 37 member states that report 37, out of 37 of the states, we were ranked 13. So you see how they skew the numbers? Like there's only 37 fucking countries in the world or some shit. So I don't got time for this. These dudes is bananas with how they do us, fam. Don't let none of that shit trick you. They bananas on how they do us, man. They bananas. But if you don't know no better, you're not even thinking about it. Why does it let me put this window in there? Hold on. Sorry about that. I got an issue. Okay, there we go. I was like, what the hell? Fam. Nerve number says, I'm glad Trump explodes in the waste. Hold on, I'm going to go to your other comment. Nerve number says, Musk said only 10,000 federal employees can retire a month because it takes so long to process the paperwork. Let me explain something to y'all. You know the Social Security... Is it Social Security? I believe it's Social Security. You know the Social Security files are still all done like on paper or some shit like that, and they're kept like in a cave somewhere. And so basically what he's trying to explain is only a certain amount of people could retire per month because they don't have the ability to process the paperwork for more than that 10,000 people. Or whatever the case got to be for. Like, there's just a certain number of people. I forget what the number is. But if more than that amount of people retire in any given month, then they don't have the requisite manpower in order to process all the paperwork because none of it is done on a computer. All of it is still done manually, physically. That's what you're talking about, right? I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. Yo, nobody else finds it interesting that LeBron James couldn't play in the All-Star game, especially after the Diddy rumors. Michael Jordan would never. Michael Jordan probably be with 1 million white women. But Michael Jordan would, it would even, you couldn't, that wouldn't even be a thought. Brandon Washington says, I think 75,000 federal workers too, the deal Trump and Elon offered. I could be wrong. So, which deal you talking about specifically? So, I'm going to tell you what I find really interesting. And this is why the Democratic voter, all I got to do is just look at you and be like, you know that y'all candidate was wrong. You want corruption in the government. Not all of them, I can say that too, but some of them. You want corruption in the government. You want it, right? And the reason why I say this is, why is it all of the things that they're complaining about is the things that you would need to do to prevent crimes? They're literally complaining about the government auditing itself to prevent waste. Oh, you talking about laying off the federal workers? Yeah, and I heard they was taking it like crazy. A lot of them was taking the deals. A lot of the CIA guys, federal workers, yeah, they was taking the deals. If you look up homes being sold in the DC area right now, like the housing market is crazy. Like everybody's trying to sell their homes right now because they not going to be working for the government any further. Also, I find it interesting that if you look at the people who vote in DC or whatever the case might be, like they vote Democrat at like a 90-something percentile. So if they have the area that runs our nation and the majority of people that live in the area where all the offices and everything is that run our nation, is on either side of the line to such an extent, I would think that there was something going on. Just in my opinion. Don't worry, Fannie Willis is going to get it also. If anybody was curious. She's about to get all of it. All of the things. You know who's so happy they went after Trump? Let me tell you right now who's so happy they went after Trump. Young Thug. He's so happy. Trump's energy was so powerful that this dude accidentally got a get out of jail free card. Sheesh. You know what else I find funny? They're like, yo, we didn't elect Elon. No, y'all didn't elect Elon. But Trump told y'all exactly what Trump told the American public, exactly what Elon was going to be doing when he gets elected. And they voted for him overwhelmingly. So Elon was part of Trump's agenda. So yes, they did elect Elon. Literally. Brandon Washington says Elizabeth Warren and Nancy Pelosi need something coming at them too. I hope he puts every last one of those politicians that deserve to go to. I hope every last one of them gets, if they're breaking the law in a manner that's hurting the American people like we believe them to have, I'm hoping that there is a decision that is made, and in that decision, an investigation is at least put into line to find out the extent of the crimes, if they were crimes. I don't want a witch hunt. You know, just because I don't like that Crockett, Jasmine Crockett, just because I don't like her, you know, just because I don't like, you know, I don't got a beef with Elizabeth Warren or Nancy Pelosi the same way, because they're not blinding our people. People like Jasmine Crockett, people like Letitia James. That's her name, right? They're blinding our people. They're making black women look bad. Like, even if here in America, y'all like, oh no, those are the women's. They doing all of the no. On the world stage, no one is being tricked. So in y'all little isolated areas where y'all go and y'all chant all this bullcrap to each other, yeah, sure, you're winning the arguments in those little isolated areas. But on the world stage, our women are not looking good. And it extends past Kamala Harris, really isn't black, and nobody really believes that except for black people. No, just leftists. Those are the only people that think she's black. No one else thinks she's black. No one else. You know, she say she is. You know, shout out to that shit. But no one thinks she's black. So I have a bigger issue with the Jasmine Crockett's of the world. Letitia James, that's her name, right? Of the world. Elizabeth Warren's salary is $200K, net worth $12 million. Please look into it. Nancy Pelosi's salary $280K, net worth $120 million. Please look into it. I have to double check. It's not all about the money, but the inside trading. Point being is they shouldn't have been doing inside trading, because guess what that is? All of the illegals. So you're just basically saying it's one crime or the other. Prosecute. And just so we can be clear, for all of the people that's like, oh, these individuals, they old this. They so old over there. What are you gonna do to them? They're gonna go in jail. They're gonna turn into dust into 3 days. If you don't investigate and then prosecute if crime is found there, how are you gonna find the other individuals who are gonna grandfather whatever crimes they were doing into the government? You know, they was committing the crimes. They're about to die soon. I'm waiting for this fool to die so I can take over their stealings. We can't catch those guys if these individuals aren't prosecuted, if these individuals aren't at least investigated. They should get some tips from Martha Stewart or ask Martha what she thinks about the situation. They should get some tips from whatever the criminals are that are currently locked up in jail, if they was doing any kind of... Martha Stewart went to jail for that, and she didn't even do insider trading to the degree that these individuals are being accused of, because her insider trading was bad, but their insider trading would have been with them actually having the knowledge of the situations beforehand, because they were part of the committee that actually created whatever the mandates or whatever the bill was or whatever the situation was that allowed for whatever the company was to either flourish or flounder. So they were literally a part of whatever the situation was that created the stock from going up or down. So yeah, this is way worse than Martha Stewart, but so I don't think she's gonna be able to help. But yeah, go talk to her. She can help them. How did you survive on the inside, Martha? That she could tell them that. I know you was only there for about 3 years. I don't know how long Martha Stewart was locked up. I know you was only there for about 3 years, but like playing the stock market hacks and Grand Theft Auto before doing the main missions. Exactly. So yeah, so what if they were doing what's implied that they were doing, then that would be exponentially worse. Just so we could be clear, it would be leaps and bounds worse. Because that would be forethought. Whereas what Martha Stewart was doing was finding out about information and then acting on it. They would literally have been sitting somewhere deciding, we're going to crash that stock with this regulation, and thus make that other company do better. So we're going to sell here and buy there. Let's do it now. And then pass the thing. Stock go down, stock go up. Way worse. I think I explained it like 3 different ways, right? For anybody that didn't understand why it was a bad thing. Because I be talking to people sometimes, and I be explaining something to them, and I be like, and they just don't get it. And I'm like, are they just arguing with me right now because they don't want to be wrong, or did I just not do a good job in explaining myself? So I'll explain it again, and I'm like, maybe I'm doing a bad job of explaining, because I don't get how they don't understand what I'm saying. And then I always get the people that's like, well, you're right, but I don't like how you're saying it. Tone policing. And then I also get the people that do the, well, this part and that part I agree with. And then I just be like, you just can't, like, what the fuck? I just can't be right, and we can't just move on and have another conversation about something else. We got to talk about this for the next 40 minutes because you just don't want me to be right? What kind of shit is this? Fuck it, though. You my friend, so I ain't got a choice. People be holding you hostage. Oh, man. He says, hey, you guys like the show? Hit that like button. Now, let's pin that. No. I gotta assume that people feel like that with me sometimes too and shit. I don't know how many people actually consider me to be a friend, but I assume people be feeling like that with me sometimes. Like, this guy. Maybe that's how they feeling. Maybe they really do think that they're right. And so they feeling the same exact way I'm feeling, right? That's fair. They feeling the same way. But history has proven me to be correct. Just so we could just throw that out there. Shout out to them, though. Love them. Show was almost a little late because I was going to run to the store and buy a coffee. I was like, shit, I should go get a coffee. Auditing Fort Knox. They want to make sure all the bricks are still there. Hold on. Let's put this up on the screen. Is auditing 2 T's? Yeah, right? I don't know. Let's see. Nope, 1 T. Auditing Fort Knox. Elon Doge prepares to audit the U.S. gold reserves in Fort Knox after urgings by Senator Rand Paul. Hold on, let's go see what Senator Rand Paul said first. All right, so Senator Rand Paul tells Musk Doge to check at Fort Knox. This is what I knew about. The first link I clicked on, that's going to be 100% new to me. Nah, I don't know what you're trying to allow me to do, fam. Ask me next time. In any regard, Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky, he's a Republican, encouraged President Donald Trump's Department of Government Efficiency to audit the country's gold reserve at Fort Knox. So when I heard about it, he was like, we got to make sure all the bricks is there. So I don't know. I don't know if he said it as a joke or not. But I promise you, when I heard that shit, I thought it was funny. In any regard, Elon Musk, who Trump put in charge of Doge, responded to the ex-user who said it. Would be great if Elon Musk, Elon Musk, whom Trump put in charge of Doge, responded to an ex-user who said it. Would be great if Elon Musk could take a look into Fort Knox just to make sure the 4,580 tons of U.S. gold is there. Last time anyone looked was 50 years ago in 1974. I laughed. I'm just being clear. So then, he says, surely it's reviewed at least every year, Elon wrote, because it was a joke. That's why I told you I laughed. No, let's do it. Elon thought it gets reviewed every year. Senator Rand Paul said, nope, let's do it. The senator wrote Sunday morning. Fort Knox, located south of Louisville's gold reserves, houses gold reserves worth an estimated $425 billion. Less than what this nigga done gave to the Ukraine, I bet. However, the government assesses the book value at $42.22 per ounce, even though the gold currently is trading nearly at $2,000 per troy, $2,900 per troy ounce. I have no idea what any of that means. I'm just reading it. The U.S. Mint says Fort Knox houses at least 147.3 million ounces, 92 million pounds worth of gold, half of the Treasury's gold reserves. Okay, we don't know what any of that means. We're just going to keep going. So they said check it. Tech billionaire Elon Musk has his sights set on the audit of the U.S. gold reserve. No, he doesn't. Look how they just tried to make it sound like Elon. Stop it. I can't. Fox is pro Elon, so I guess they're trying to make it kind of seem like it was his idea. It wasn't his idea. Give the credit to the people who need to give the credit to. And it also, there's a certain value that an individual has to have by being able to hear something that has value and then assessing the appropriate value to it. So let's give the credit to Elon where the credit is deserved. And that's not just do all this other stuff. Because these guys is doing all this other stuff. I think some of them, let's see what it says. I think some of them may not think it needs to be audited all the time, but I think the more sunlight, the better. More transparency, the better. And also, it brings attention to the fact that the gold still has value, and implicitly and not explicitly, but implicitly. Gold still gives value to the dollar, Paul Reed said. For everybody that don't know, our dollar is not backed by the U.S. Reserve anymore. Not by the gold reserves anymore. It isn't backed by Fort Knox anymore. Just so we can be clear. A lot of people don't know that. In any regard, or it should be common knowledge, right? I assume it's common knowledge. Anyway, the U.S. Brandon Washington said the U.S. is saying every ounce of gold is worth $50, but the actual price of gold is almost $3K now. Oh! Shout out to Brandon Washington. So the numbers vary greatly. Do an audit! That sounds like an audit. We need more audits. We need to audit every single government agency once a year. I don't think was that joke too subtle? Nah, it was probably too subtle. I ain't fucking. Anyway, it was way too subtle, right? It was too subtle. I thought if I hold the quiet for a minute, we get taxed once a year. We get audited once a year. The government should be getting audited once a year, not the American people. Twice a year on election years. We shouldn't be getting audited. The government should be getting audited, not us. We do not work for the government. If the government is auditing us, then we work for the government. You want to know the real reason why the Democrats don't want tariffs? Why they're so against tariffs? Because they need for the tax dollars to go. They need for us to pay high taxes. They need for every American citizen to pay taxes. Because that's what they're stealing. Now, if a new tariff system is set up, or a tariff system already exists, which it does, they're probably not able to steal from that as easily. Because the mechanisms aren't already in place. Who knows how long it's going to take for them to be able to set that up. It might take years. It might take generations. You get it? That's the part that I know a lot of the voters don't get what's actually happening. Should I go back to something that I said before the election? They're going to take all of their power by preventing them from stealing our money. Because that's where the democratic global power rests. In the American taxpayer dollar. The more corruption that gets exposed, the more I look at the voter. So I've been seeing a lot of churches say this. A lot of churches. Been seeing it all over the internet. And they got the pastors that stand at their pulpit and they say that they can't vote for what the Democrats are preaching. Can we clap it up for all of those guys? because you are leading your flock the way that the Bible intended and not the way that public perception entails. Why am I saying all this? I heard at least one Catholic priest, and I've seen more, but I'm just, I've seen at least one Catholic priest, and I've seen at least one black pastor. I've seen at least one white pastor. I've seen at least one Spanish-speaking pastor. Don't know what is probably spoke Spanish though. That said something that I think is the most important aspect of why Donald Trump won. It had nothing to do with the voter. It had everything to do with God. They said that you can't vote for these Democratic parties if you're a Catholic. They said you can't vote for these Democratic policies if you're a Christian. You just can't vote for them. How you voting for child mutilation? I don't care what you call it. It is what it is. Now I'm about to tell you about something that it does say in the Bible, that we're not supposed to change our bodies. Like, we're not supposed to be surgically altering our bodies. And I always found that interesting, because when I was a child, this type of stuff didn't even exist. So why would the Bible say that? Always found that interesting. Maybe it did exist, but did it exist thousands of years ago? They keep saying that prophets saw visions of the future. With that being said, this is much bigger. And this is why I keep trying to tell you, be kind to your Democratic voting friends and family. Because this is so much deeper than just an election. This is so much deeper than Republican and Democrat. This is just so much more than that. We're about to end the show, but we will be coming back in a couple of minutes. I was debating on whether we were going to go straight into something, but I'm going to need a couple of minutes to get myself together. Tonight, we will be gaming. We will be playing Marvel Rivals. We will be back. We will be playing Marvel. Trying to turn the damn thing on. I thought it was on already, but I keep forgetting. PlayStation turns itself off if you haven't been doing anything with the PlayStations. So we will be playing Marvel Rivals tonight. We will be playing Marvel Rivals. But I'm going to need a couple of minutes, and we should be back in probably about, 20 minutes or so. Might give me something to eat first. And then we're gonna game for an hour or two. With that being said, this is why I turned the damn thing off. With that being said, just gonna close out on the show real quick. Love your friends and your families and your relatives who have decided that they are going to do wild and obnoxious things because you have decided that you yourself don't want the government to continue to steal our money and impoverish the people that live in the American continent of America. So the point in which I'm trying to make is this, and this is the point that is clear. Democrats, when they lost, they're doing all of the most terrible things you can think of to others. But when the Republicans lost, all they did was say, we don't believe that the election was real. There's just an energy that is not of God. It fucks with all of us. I'm chased by Satan almost every day of my life. You should have seen the wild shit that happened. I had to go to the supermarket today. I hate going to the supermarket. Let me tell you what happened. So I'm standing there online just minding my business, and some dude just walks up to me like this, just to stand next to me like this, and then pick a thing up. And then he turned around and said, you online? Like, he thought when he was walking up to me like this, I was going to turn around, have some kind of reaction to some shit. I don't know. So then he could play the victim or some shit. I don't know. Then they had some other lady complaining about some dude. Some dude got what was coming to him. He was trying to start beef with me on the internet for no reason. And he got what was coming to him. Shout out to that nigga. Look, I'm not here to start beefing, no problems with nobody. If you pull up on my social media and just start arguing with me randomly and then just start saying I'm angry or some shit like that, and I'm not even angry because I don't even care, nigga, I'm not doing whatever it is. Like, we're not doing this, alright? So stop being a sucker, right? Because you're doing sucker shit. That's sucker shit, just so we could be clear. Somebody's just on their social media minding their business, and then you just go into their shit and try to pick a fight. That's sucker shit. So stop doing sucker shit. That's 100% woman shit. I'm not even trying to be an asshole. We all know that that's feminine energy. Alright? Men don't got time to do shit like that. Men is doing other shit. Men don't got time to do shit like that. Alright? That's feminine energy, fam. Get yourself together. With that being said, love your Democratic voted individuals. They're going through something. They just lost and they can't take it. But when they won, they were the main ones saying that the Republicans need to be quiet about something that it turns out might have actually happened. The election might have actually really sincerely had been stolen. They weren't complaining about something that didn't happen. I'm not saying it was. But what I'm saying is that might actually be a thing that happened. The Republicans that were complaining were literally complaining about a thing that they probably should have been complaining about. You told them to be quiet. Stop complaining. You guys is crybabies. Then you guys lose and literally cry on the internet. Like, literally cry. I didn't see any Republicans doing that shit. You guys lose, cut your hair, dye your hair. All types of other wild shit that don't make sense. Swear off sex. I don't get it. What about your husbands? Are they cool with this? Are y'all just a married couple that's like the whole 4 years? Like, what's going on? So, whatever, nigga. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Trump said that he was going to find corruption. He's finding corruption. And you're still mad. Even after it's being proven that the people that you wanted to elect were corrupt. So you don't care about there being a better nation. You don't care about leaving a better America for your children. You don't care about any of that. Because if you did, you would at least look at what Trump is finding right now and saying, wow, I didn't know that was a thing. Let me put it in its appropriate context and see what comes next. Instead, y'all following behind the parroting of news media that have lost lawsuits for lying. So, I don't even know how to handle that. Just being honest with you. I don't even know what to do with that. When somebody comes up to me and tells me a talking point that has already been proven to be a lie because those people got sued and lost because they lied. And then the people were standing in front of me saying it with all the confidence in the world and talking down to me at the same time. Just want to be clear about that. While they standing in front of me saying all of these things and they don't know shit about what they talking, they also talking down to me. And I'm just keeping my composure and being nice and being polite. They're interrupting me and just saying more things that's not true. And I'm just being kind and being polite. It's crazy all of the things that I said that were going to happen that are happening. What's going to even be crazier is when you find out all of the things that I have said that sounded absolutely ludicrous. That's true. You're not even going to believe me when I tell you how I know. Just like you're not going to believe me when I tell you how I knew all of this stuff was going to happen. You're not going to believe me. I'm not going to tell you. It's going to be a waste of time. So with that being said, I love y'all. We're going to be back in the morning for morning coffee. But before that, we're going to get into some gaming tonight. Some Marvel Rivals. Come pull up. Maybe I'll run a game or two with some people. I don't know. But maybe some of my friends are on. And then we can get into that. With that being said, I love y'all. If you got anybody still awake in your household, please give them a hug. Tell them you love them. You don't never know what's going to happen tomorrow. Give people a hug while they're still here. Like, comment, subscribe. Join the notification gang. Hashtag Bronx Boomers. Let's get it. I love y'all. Take care of each other. Hug the kids for me. I haven't forgotten about you. And that's all I got on this one.